TV. And as always, we'd like to thank you all for tuning in from wherever it is in the world that you happen to be. And I, of course, would love to thank you for going out on this walk with me, a walk through whatever beautiful, pristine lands that we happen to go through with the Black Dragon. So it's always good to have you guys aboard. And as we're walking through this beautiful park here in Georgia, come here. Come here. Morning. As we're walking through this beautiful park here in Georgia, and the dog wants to run in front of the car. So anyway, doing great this morning. Elmwood Centurions, Battle Creek, Missouri. It's good to have you guys on. Black Dragon, love your videos from RC, Garmin RC Ponca City. You guys do know I'm from Oklahoma, right? So it's always good to see my Oklahoma brethren on here. It's a good thing. I miss home. Oklahoma's a great place to grow up in. Good morning, have a great day. Tramp, Iron Legacy, thank you. Iron Legacy MC. What's up, Brandon Young? Doing great. So I wanted to spend a few moments today talking about this email that I got. Really short email, really terse. I could feel the guy's pain. I could feel it in his heart. And it was I don't even have to write it down. I could just remember it. Kind of paraphrasing, because a lot of times when you guys send me information, you put a whole lot of club business in it. And I really shouldn't be knowing this much about your internal club business. But believe me, you guys tell me a whole lot more than I should be knowing. So I almost feel like a priest or something. Like I can't, sorry, I can't reveal those details. Hey, Black Dragon's off topic, but I got a new car that's nuts. It's a new 1970 Cadillac. Oh yeah, that is nuts. That's a nice car. What's your home address? Can I send you some money order for? Black Dragon at blacksabbathmc.com. Send me an email there, and we'll talk about anything like that offline. What's up, Black Dragon? Sanford. Hey man, good to see you guys. I love the Omens. Good guys. So I'm going to kind of paraphrase this a little bit so I don't get into his personal club business on the airwaves, as that's not proper. But basically, Black Dragon, my president, accused me of violating the bylaws. So he took my colors and fined me. And that was that. Can my president do that to me? And I'm going to go into a little bit about that right here. I want to start first with some disclaimers. Disclaimer number one. Oh, if you sent something to me and I didn't respond, that's because I haven't seen, I might have seen it, I just haven't had time to respond. Like, if it was over the weekend or whatever, I do take a little bit of time off. But if you sent me an email, I will respond. Got a confession, seen all kind of boobies this weekend at Easy Rider Rodeo. Yeah, well, that's why they wear that stuff, for you to see that. So, what's up, London? So, I want to start with a few, what do you call them? I want to start with a few disclaimers. Number one, Everything I tell you, there's going to be 1,000 other ways to do it. 1,000 other ways other motorcycle clubs do it. It all is based on your or sisters in your motorcycle clubs. That's who determines your club culture. So just because black all times. I don't speak to you from like this level of where I'm pontificating down to the masses or something like that. Just about every mistake you guys are making, I've made. So when I tell you about things that you should maybe consider, it's based on my experience and then based on my mistakes and based on things I've seen go wrong, based on things I've done wrong. So I try to give you something that I hope will help you in the future rather than harm you. But I'm by no means have I done all these things and not made any mistakes. You're freezing up a lot. I must be in a bad place in this park. And that really sucks. Hopefully, I really shouldn't be freezing up right now. Hopefully it gets better. I must be in a bad part in the park. So as I walk over here, hopefully it'll be better. So I tell you all that to say, there's going to be 1,000 different ways that this stuff is done. What we're talking about is my opinion, my experiences. If you want to listen to my opinion and my experiences, you're at the right place. If you want to do something that somebody else says, there's a lot of channels out here now. So there's a lot of places you can get this information. So, the guy asked me, can my president do that to me? Can my president take my colors? What's up, Romania Dual Sport? Can my president take my colors and hold a trial on me? Basically, that's just him. Basically, what you're asking me is, can the president be the judge, jury, and executioner? And my answer is, yeah, if you let him. Only if you let him. Motorcycle clubs are not supposed to operate that way if they're traditional motorcycle clubs. If they operate by a traditional standard, some type of Robert's Rules of Order, some type of democracy, some type of thing where everybody is heard, then no, your president didn't do the right thing. And I see this go down in club after club after club after club. It doesn't matter what kind of club. It doesn't matter what level of club. I see this in RCs, MCs. I see this on every side of the house. And believe me, I've heard it from every side of the house, where guys will call me and be very upset and disappointed, but seemingly powerless to stop this kind of thing. So what should happen in a traditional motorcycle club when it comes to club discipline and club court, this all is supposed to go through the sergeant at arms. And a group of people in the club that have no part in the discipline that's being brought down. And somebody said, well, you should know your club's bylaws, but a lot of motorcycle clubs don't have bylaws, believe it or not. A lot of motorcycle clubs, especially these new ones, don't have bylaws that anybody's seen. They're told about the bylaws. You know, the bylaws are kind of like the Bible. How many people have told you the Bible says this? And you go repeat that. Well, the Bible says that Jesus said if you just accept him as your personal, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying here. And then people will repeat that and repeat it and repeat it. But how many people have actually read it? Bylaws are like that. Bylaws are like a Bible people keep repeating that nobody's read. So when someone tells me, well, he should know the bylaws, I know so many people that don't know the bylaws, or so many clubs that don't have bylaws, or don't have bylaws you can get, or don't have bylaws you can see, or working on the bylaws, updating the bylaws, or I'll get those bylaws to you next week. And people just don't damn know their own bylaws. So, and like one guy here just says, Shavakol, I thought it was how bad you messed up. Charcoal says, I thought it was how bad you messed up. And people actually believe that. And that could be your club culture. That's another thing. Bylaws and club culture are two different things. Your bylaws can say one thing, but your club culture can be another. Your bylaws might say that you need 10 people on a trial, but the club culture lets the president decide everything he wants to decide. So everybody's different. Everybody's house is different. But in our house, charges are brought up and substantiated by the bylaws. You've got a good club. Can't imagine that a club operates without their members each having a copy. Oh, my brother. You would not believe the thousands of clubs I've been in touch with that don't have operating bylaws that you can touch and feel and see. It is absolutely silly. And by this time, I've been in touch with tens of thousands of clubs, thousands and thousands of clubs, let us say. And I would say that there are hundreds and hundreds of clubs that I've talked to that don't seem to be operating quite like you might imagine. So what should happen is that everybody in a club has a role. And the role of police officer, judge, and keeper of the bylaws belongs to the sergeant at arms. The sergeant at arms handles those things. And this keeps the peace in most instances because the sergeant at arms is supposed to be neutral. And then big clubs have assistant sergeant at arms or master sergeant at arms. So if you had a sergeant at arms that was caught up in something, then he could pass that duty down to someone else. Since the sergeant at arms is supposed to be the hottest guy in the club on the club's bylaws, and the only person that might be a little bit more knowledgeable than him might be the president, maybe, then the sergeant at arms sits in the perfect position to carry this out. So in every organization, there's supposed to be something fair, something set up that keeps everybody equal. That's the bylaws. And there are things that go against those bylaws that require discipline. If you're supposed to make 4 runs a year and you've only made 1 run a year for the past 3 years, you violated the bylaws. People are tired of your butt and they want something to be done about it. Whereas if you're out in a nightclub and you slap a sister in the mouth, that's something different. And folks are going to want something done about that. But if the sister you slapped in the mouth was the president's woman, does he get to decide your fate? Because maybe you had a good reason. Not that I could ever say that there's a good reason to hit a woman, but maybe there was a mitigating circumstance, like she spit in your face. So that is something that everybody needs to look at. And it needs to be looked at fairly. Now, how can the guy deciding what happened to you, what's going to happen to you, how can that be a guy that's part of the procedure? That's not fair any place in the world. Yet it does happen every place in the world. So here's where the sergeant at arms comes in. First, there's supposed to be written charges. Now, of course, this is not every club's culture. But written charges would give you what you did wrong, what your offense was, and what bylaw you violated. This is something that the sergeant at arms does. He conducts an investigation to see if there's even a reason to bring charges. It's kind of like the DA, if you would, of the club. Next thing would be, once these charges are written down and presented to you formally, you're given an opportunity to mount a defense. Gather your own witnesses. And on this charging document should be the witnesses against you. You know, in every jurisprudence system that's fair, there is an ability to face your accusers. That's just some basic stuff. If your club isn't operating like that, I might consider someplace else to be. Because how does one guy get to be judge, jury, and executioner, and I don't get to face well, they said you did this, man, and so we're going to have to do that as a result. You should be able to face your accusers formally in a formal setting where they present the evidence against you and you present the evidence based on your behalf, the evidence that can clear you or exonerate you. And that evidence gets to be weighed by an impartial group of your peers, full patch brothers in the motorcycle club, that have nothing to do with the charge whatsoever. They weren't part of it. They weren't part of the melee. They weren't part of the fight. They weren't part of the guy that you supposedly borrowed $50 from and didn't pay it back. He's not the guy who's deciding what's going to happen to you. That's kind of ridiculous, but it happens. Sergeant at Arms' job is to make sure all this happens, that there are charges that are written, there are charges you can address, there are witnesses, and there's going to be a date and a time. In my club, we call it a committee. There's going to be a date and a time that you receive your committee hearing to determine whether or not you're guilty of these charges. Now, in a club can decide whether or not the charges have to be unanimous. Like if you have 5 people on your jury, in your committee, that are going to be adjudicating this, 5 peers, full patch brothers in full standing, in good standing rather, full patch brothers in good standing. If you're not in good standing, how in the hell are you going to sit on somebody else's court? You're not in good standing, you haven't paid your dues, but you're going to sit on a trial of somebody who hadn't paid theirs. Happens every day. But it ain't supposed to be happening. So these guys get your charges and they get your evidence. And this committee hearing is held, and the sergeant at arms presides over this committee, just like he does over every meeting, keeping everything intact, keeping everyone operating correctly, keeping the yelling down, handing out fines if he needs to because you don't know how to act in the meeting, in the committee. That's what the sergeant at arms should be doing. Should be holding it down, baby. Keeping everybody righteous, making sure that this brother is given a fair trial. And guess what? The president don't even have to be there. This idea that a president doesn't vote unless it's a tiebreaker, this is time-honored motorcycle club protocol, and there is a reason for it. The reason is just like for the same reason that in the United States Constitution, a president can't be elected for more than 2 terms. There's this idea that we got after we faced the European king, the British king, the throne. We got this idea in America that we didn't want to deal with thrones anymore. We didn't want to deal with one man who could make a decision to affect us all, whether he was crazy or off his rocker or whatever. We made a decision, we didn't want to deal with that. So when we started our country, we said there'll be no more kings. We're only going to deal with people that are duly elected for a short term of office. It doesn't really matter how great he is. This person's got to go in 2 terms. This idea that a leader isn't all powerful is a completely American ideal. It's not only an American ideal. It's not only from America, but it is absolutely American to its core in terms of our founding and how we run our country. And it's important to us. So it's important to our motorcycle club culture. President only makes a decision to break a tie. So how then do we hand the decision of discipline to one man? The decision of discipline isn't handed to the sergeant at arms. It's handed to the committee. And the sergeant at arms runs the committee. He doesn't need the president for that. This is his collateral duty that we call it in the Navy. This is a duty that is bestowed upon him by the position, by the watch that he is standing. No one has to tell him to do it. No one has to authorize him. This is his position. Someone wants to bring a charge, the sergeant at arms runs that process. And if a charge is brought on you from the lowliest prospect to the most walking around on high president or national president, if a charge is brought on you, then you have to stand and face that charge. Unless your club culture says that you don't. So this is how this works. This is how this is supposed to go down, according to Black Dragon. If you value what I say, which you may not. Some people will disagree with this vehemently. But in my club, there are no kings. So you will go through the sergeant at arms to have this hearing and this adjudication of facts. And then the committee will recommend your punishment. No more one person thing. You're out of the club for 6 months. Says who? The president? Wow. But there's 50 other people in this club. They might not agree. So, sergeant at arms is responsible for club discipline. He holds the club court. He makes sure that there's an investigation of the charges, and he makes sure that the charges are brought formally. He also ensures that there is a trial, and the trial is fair. And he handles the adjudication of the punishment, or if the member is cleared, making sure that the member is cleared, and the matter is then dropped. You can find this and this whole procedure written up in my book, The Sergeant at Arms Bible, my second best-selling book, which talks about the various protocols one can use in a motorcycle club. What if we have no sergeant at arms? Then you are not operating as a traditional motorcycle club. And somebody else is going to have to take over that duty. But if you have 5 men, if you have enough men to have a motorcycle club, if you have enough brothers to form an MC that's been blessed or recognized on the set, then somebody won't step up to the plate and do the job. And that person needs to be identified and his ass put to work. So if you got 5 dudes and you got 4 officers and you're missing one, grab that 5th dude and put him together. But if you don't have a sergeant at arms, somebody else is going to have to tackle that duty. Pretty simple. Somebody else is going to have to do it. And it's still done the same way. The procedure doesn't change by the person that's doing it. sometimes the sergeant at arms might not be able to do it. Like maybe the sergeant at arms is part of the situation. So somebody else would have to do it anyway. But that's how it should be done. It should be done fairly, squarely, and according to the bylaws. This one-man army, and a lot of times presidents don't have any choice. I got to say that too. They don't have any choice because the rest of you guys won't do jack. You won't do nothing. And if he wants to have a club, he's going to have to run a club because y'all are sorry. Y'all don't want to work. Y'all don't want to be on any committees. Y'all don't want to make nothing happen. Y'all don't want to take up the money. Y'all don't want to count the money. Y'all don't want to go on the rides. If the president wasn't doing it all wouldn't happen. And then the first time something goes wrong, who's the first person you want to come against? The president. Well, he didn't handle the money right. He wasn't supposed to be handling the money at all. But we don't have a treasurer. You guys, you don't want to be in motorcycle clubs. You want to be in babysitting clubs. You just want that patch for what it looks like on your back, and it makes you part of the in crowd. And you're so cool. You don't want any of the responsibility that comes with the patch. And that's really sad. But that's what's out there. Don't let that be your motorcycle club. One man can make the difference. And I always say, if you don't have the MC you like, if you don't have the MC you want, recruit the MC you want to have. Go out and get your own brothers. Train them yourself. Educate them. Have your own prospects. Build them up. Ride with them. Form them. Train them. Teach them. Mold them. And then when it comes time for the vote, take over the whole damn club and make it something you'd be proud of. That's what I did. All right. Any questions to me? Good morning, Black Dragon from Santa Fe, Texas. Damaged Souls MC. Spooner, good to see you, man. Great Vid Black Dragon, got to go to work. Well, I'm out of here anyway, DJ Big Mac, good to see you. Cool boy. What do you say about the guys in a national club, but only ride local? Again, that's club culture. And what I say to that is you're not doing your national job. And you wouldn't be national in my club for long. And it wouldn't be because of me, it'd be because of the guys. The guys wouldn't let you get away with that. You know, our nationals have basically written to every chapter we have. And they do it every year. Listen, I can tell you if you look at, let's just say you had 14 chapters. And it cost about $500 to $1,000 to make a trip across the state line to another chapter. So if you got a chapter in California and you're stationed in your chapter's in Norfolk, Virginia, the mother chapter, then that's a 20,000 mile. That's a several thousand mile trip. And if you're like my club, you're going to be required to ride there. And every now and then you might fly, depending on if I got to be back to work Monday. I just don't have time. I just don't have 8 days on the road. I don't have it. But that is going to cost you a plane, or it's going to cost you a road trip. And that road trip is going to cost you to have to get your motorcycle in tip-top condition. You got to have tires. You got to have oil. You got to have a tune-up. You got to have your fork seals done. On and on and on. It might cost you $1,000, $1,500 to get your bike in shape. Especially if you just made a trip, you have to buy 2 tires. So you're going on close to $1,000 right there. And it just goes on and on and on. Then you got to make the trip. Got to take the time off work. You got to spend the money for hotel fees, food, lodging, and any mechanical failures on the road. So if you got that, that Harley Davidson Forever maintenance program or whatever, that thing costs a lot of money. Got to pay for that. If you're going to be rolling a lot, you got to pay for that. So all that is money. So if you're doing 14 of those trips a year, you could spend $14,000 to $20,000 a year as a national officer just traveling to one club function after another. If you went to 14 club functions in a year, you might not have that kind of time to take off. So that means you got to be very good at riding halfway across the country in one day. So you get off Friday evening, Friday afternoon, maybe you can take Friday early, leave at about 2 p.m. maybe. You're going to ride till 2 a.m. to get 1,000 miles. And you're going to ride your ass off. You're going to be smoking, you're going to be rolling at least 100 miles an hour, 90% of the way to get there. About 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, you're going to be tired. But you got to get there. So then you pull in, you've been riding all night. And if you guys want to see an example of that, I have a video I did live, which was called Can I Stay Awake? Something like that, where I took you guys with me when we rode to our president's meeting in San Antonio, Texas from Atlanta. 1,000-mile ride. Left Friday afternoon at about 3 p.m. and I pulled in there about 3 in the morning, I think it was. And then I had a president's meeting the whole next day, all day Saturday. All day Saturday. Got up at 8 in the morning. Then Saturday night, the guys wanted to party, go out and hang out, especially the guys that were only 4 hours away, right? And then the next day, I had to get up and ride back home, Sunday. I had to be gone by 8 in the morning, messed around and didn't get out till 10 or 11 or 12. Then we had newbies on the road, we had prospects, riding our butt off, and the prospects couldn't keep up. Prospects wasn't rolling at 100 in formation, 110. They weren't doing it. So you got to slow way down. Now you're down to 70, 80. They still can't keep up. They were training prospects. That means you're not going to get home until 5 or 6 or 7 in the morning, and you're going to go straight to work. So that's tough. And that's what nationals do. They ride in a national motorcycle club. So if I got a national that's not doing that, and the other nationals are, he's not spending the bread. And some clubs, the national president might get some sort of stipend, but not all the nationals are, unless you got like a real successful club. So some of this money is coming out of your own pocket. So it's not cheap. Riding motorcycles is not cheap, man. It's not cheap. Being in a club is not cheap. If you don't have the funds to do this, then maybe you need to just think about being a regular member. If you don't have the time, if you don't have the moral fortitude, if you don't want to ride, then maybe you should think about doing something else. Boy, look at that big ass dog. Man, oh man. Why are you in such a hurry to get chewed up? Look at him, he don't even look nice. His tail ain't wagging. His tail ain't wagging. Think you better leave him alone. Come on here, man, before you get ate up. Yeah, I don't blame you. His tail ain't wagging. Let's go. Oh, it's wagging now. Okay. Things are better. Well, that dog will eat you up, man. Better leave him alone. Oh, you're gonna go piss on a tree, huh? Come on, Braveheart. Come on. Come on, Braveheart. Stupid heart. Let's go. Come on, stupid heart. Can we go now? Come on. Thank you for not eating my dog up. Oh, 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 oh. Okay, okay, okay. Oh. You made a friend. Oh, he doesn't want to see you go. And here I thought he was going to eat your ass up. Come on here. Oh, we got more over there, huh? Beauty of the campsite. Think you'd be afraid of something. Oh, here you go. Look at you. Come on, man. Hello. How are you? Come on. Come on here. So anyway, this is a big hill.
Are you live?
I am live.
What?
Hey, come say hello to my audience.
Okay. I look like crap, but it's...
You don't look like crap. We're in the woods.
Hi.
This is Black Dragon Biker TV. What's your name?
Heather Hagenberger.
Hello, Heather Hagenberger. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Heather, where are you from?
I'm from here.
From Georgia?
Yes, from Georgia.
So you guys staying here in the tent? How long you been here?
Yes, we've been here for 3 days. I camp here all the time.
Oh, really? Have a lot of fun?
Oh, yeah.
Is that your son there?
Yeah, that's my son.
Well, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Check us out on Black Dragon Biker TV. Everyone's saying hi, Heather. Look at that.
Hi.
It's all bikers, so
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, they could say.
I'm not cute enough, though.
You're cute. Heather, you're cute. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. I don't know why Heather didn't think she was cute. Heather's cute. I'm no biker. Okay, so. Look, man, I made it up the hill. Holy moly. That was a big hill. Look how far the son of a bitch goes. Dang, all these dogs. Morning. Good, how are y'all? Enjoying the camp? Enjoying the camp? Well, have fun. Thank you. I made it. I made it. I'm at the top of the damn hill. Not as cute as our Big Daddy's sexual chocolate, though. Is that what I am? Sexual chocolate? Hi, I'm Black Dragon, and welcome to Sexual Chocolate. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm so sexy. Sexual chocolate. I have to make that t-shirt. One demerit because of Miss Tia. Oh, wait a minute. I can say the woman's cute. I didn't try to pick her up. Besides, Miss Tia says she doesn't mind if I look. So that's a good that's a good exchange. So I can look all I want. Come on here, dog. So anyway, I'm going to make a short version of this video. I've decided to make short versions of every one of these videos that I do that get straight down to the point, so you guys don't have to hang out with me for 40 minutes every time I'm doing a video. So there's going to be short videos of this and all the others. Are you at Adam Sandoval's camp? No, but this looks a hell of a lot like Adam Sandoval's camp. So I was really impressed with his camp. Adam Sandoval's camp is amazing. If you guys haven't been to Adam Sandoval's camp, formerly called K River Campground, now I think it's called, oh, I forget the name. Oh, I forget the name. On the Kiamichi River. You can still find it under K River Campground. It's been around for maybe 30 years. He bought it off of a guy, and every month he seems to be doing something new to that place. He just built some tree houses. Oh my gosh, those tree houses are something else. I haven't been in one yet, but I saw the videos of them. They look spectacular. I think somebody even got married in one of those tree houses. Just absolutely amazing. You got to get over there. I'm definitely plugging his campground. I spent some time there. They do have 50-watt hookups. If you have a big RV like mine, if you have a little RV, they got 30-watt hookups. And then they have dry camping there too, and all that. You got to go to the Kiamichi River in Antlers, Oklahoma, near Moyers, Oklahoma. I grew up in Oklahoma. Those places, the riding back there on those backcountry roads. Whew. Boy, you get on them back roads, you get to just smoke. You can smoke. Yeah, it's Oklahoma. It's flat. Of course, you're kind of in eastern Oklahoma, so there's a lot of curves around there too, of stuff you can see. It's just beautiful. They have tinting there as well, charcoal. The tinting is amazing, and it's a biker's paradise, and it's a veteran's paradise. He's got some free rooms and stuff that veterans can stay at, some free camping. A percentage of the campground is free for veterans. I'm a veteran, but I always make sure to pay so that I can, so that less fortunate veterans can stay. I always try to reserve a spot, and the spots are not expensive. I think they're like $40 or something for my camp, for my RV. It's like $40, so I have like a 40-foot Class A. If you got a 45-footer, they have less spaces, and if you got a 45-footer with a big old huge thing behind it, they probably only got a couple spaces for that, but they can accommodate you somewhere on that campground, I'm sure. They got great people to work with over there, great people. You call, there's a lady there that will take the calls, and she runs the campground to it seems like to me. Whenever I call there, she's the one that answers. And Adam Rich, guy I grew up with, famous guy. Adam Sandoval is really doing great things for veterans. And, you know, good guy. Anyway. That's it. Anything else? Watch some of your Think Tactical channel and enjoyed. I started that channel and I haven't had the time to put in it that I want, but I got a couple guys that are working with me on that channel, and they're really good guys, and we really trying to do a lot with that channel, Fingers. We appreciate that. We can always use information and knowledge from people that know about the kind of things we're talking about. One of the things that we have to watch is that there is a huge attack on these kinds of channels from advertisers and groups that think nothing but right right-wing extremists follow those kinds of channels. So they're attacking the advertising and things like that. So when you have a channel like that, you need a lot of support. If you're talking about guns or anything where you would be protecting yourself from somebody that would just come take your shit, forgive my cursing, but any kind of a channel like that is some kind of way subversive, and that's just the way it is. All righty, I think that's it. I mentioned it earlier, but you missed it. You said you were going to get back with me on the info I sent last month. Michael Vincent, you sent me info last month. Then I'm tardy. Send it again, please. It's lost in all my emails. Send it today, and I will get on it and get right back to you. I'll get back to you today. If you resend it this morning, I'll get back to you this morning. All right. Okay, so thanks for walking with me out here. It's 82 degrees or something like that, but we're doing fine. We're doing much better. We're walking, and we're trying to get skinny. On our diet, less than 1,800 calories a day. We're cut, for the most part, we've cut all the sugars and breads. Every now and then I'll have a sandwich, every now and then, but for the most part, I've taken my sugar readings down. They were like 243. They've been down to like 120. I did that in about 4 or 5 days. And now we're trying to get them down to 80. We're just do this with mostly diet alone. So working it, bro. Thanks for tuning in. That's my 2 cents. Leave your comments in the description below. Thanks for tuning in, and get skinny.